Hey there. I didn't know you were there. I'm practicing my dance moves. What'd you think? Okay, well, that's kind of embarrassing. Okay, welcome to Fairy Tale Farm, peepity peeps. I'm so happy you're here, cause today I got a special story for you. It's about another animal, a frog. You like froggies? Well, this is not an ordinary frog. This story is an old story by the Brothers Grimm that's going to be retold by me, Sheep. It's called The Frog Prince. One fine evening, a young princess put on her bonnet and clogs. Wait. Do you know what a bonnet and clogs are? A bonnet is like a big thing for your head, and clogs are like shoes. Now, back then they called it different things, like bonnet and clogs. Today I might say she put on her hat and shoes and went outside. But that's how they said it. And she went out to take a walk by herself in a wood. Every story seems to have some girl going out in the forest by herself. They were not very smart, were they? Don't you ever do that. Don't do it. And when she came to a cool spring of water that rose in the midst of it, she sat herself down to rest for a little while. Now, she had a golden ball in her hand, which was her favorite plaything. What? A golden ball was her favorite plaything? She's a princess. She can have whatever she wants, and her favorite plaything is a little golden ball? I hope it was made out of real gold. Ooh, now that I think about it, it might be my favorite thing. But only for like 5 minutes until I go sell it and buy me something fancy. I'll get me a Jeep and drive around and go, Jeep, beep, 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 beep. I'm being weird. She kept throwing the ball in the air and catching it again as it fell. After a time, she threw it up so high that she missed catching it as it fell, and the ball fell away and it rolled upon the ground till at last it fell down into the water. No! The golden ball is gone, and gold is heavy, so it's gonna sink. She's never gonna get it back. You need to be more careful. The princess looked into the water, but it was so deep that she could not see the bottom of it. And then she began to cry. Oh no! If I could only get my ball again, I would give all of my pretty clothes and jewels and everything I have in the world. Okay, now, I was sad about losing the little gold ball, but come on. You would give all of your clothes and jewels and everything just to get that ball back? You could sell some of that and get another ball. I don't know about this girl. While she was still talking, a frog put its head out of the water and said, Princess, why are you crying? She said, what can you do for me, you nasty frog? Wait. So first of all, she don't think it's weird that a frog is talking to her. I mean, I know I'm a talking sheep, I get it. But in her world, that seems kind of weird. And then, she's kind of rude. He was nice to her. He was like, why are you crying? Like he's gonna cheer her up, and she's like, what you talking about, you nasty little frog? That's real rude. Real rude. She said, my ball fell into the water. And the frog said, I don't want pearls or jewels or fine clothes from you, but if you will love me and let me live with you and eat from your golden plate and sleep on your bed, I will bring your ball again. Wait! So he's trying to make it like, oh, I don't want nothing special, just to live in a castle and eat off a golden plate and sleep in your bed. Come on. Oh, Lord, tricky little frog. What nonsense, thought the princess. This silly frog is talking. He can never even get out of the water to visit me, though he may be able to get my ball. So I'll tell him he shall have what he asks. Whoa, she's gonna basically be lying to him. What she's thinking is, hey, yeah, I'll say okay, and he'll get my ball, but he'll never even be able to get out of the water and come to my house, so he'll never use all the things I'm telling him he's gonna have. Both of these seem a little sneaky here. She said to the frog, well, if you bring me my ball, I'll do all you ask. Then the frog put his head down and dived deep under the water, and after a little while, he came up again with the ball in his mouth, and he threw it on the edge of the spring. Yay, Froggy! As soon as the young princess saw her ball, She ran to pick it up, and she was so happy to have it in her hand again that she never thought of the frog, but ran home with it as fast as she could. How rude. That frog got her ball for her, and she just walked away, didn't even say thank you. You need to say thank you when people do nice things. The frog called after her, "Stay, princess, and take me with you as you said." But she did not stop to hear his words. The next day, just as the princess had sat down to dinner, she heard a strange noise, tap, tap, plash, plash, as if something was coming up the marble staircase. And soon afterwards, there was a gentle knock at the door, and a little voice cried out and said, "Open the door, my princess dear, open the door to thy true love here, and mind the words that thou and I said, by the fountain cool in the greenwood shade." Okay, I got good news and bad news. The good news is, the froggy seems pretty romantic. I mean, he's got a poem for her and everything. The bad news is, it doesn't rhyme very well. So there's that. Then the princess ran to the door and opened it, and there she saw the frog, whom she had forgotten. At the sight, she was sadly frightened, and shutting the door as fast as she could, came back to her seat. The king, her father, seeing that something had frightened her, asked her what was the matter. "There is a nasty frog," she said, "at the door, that lifted my ball for me out of the spring this morning. I told him that he should live with me here, thinking that he could never get out of the spring, but there he is at the door and he wants to come in." Okay, if I was the king, I might be thinking, we need to get her some help. I asked my daughter what's wrong, and she didn't say, "Oh, I got mud on my dress," or, "Oh, I just wish I had a handsome prince." She said, "Oh, well, there's this frog who's talking at the door, and he got my ball for me, and he wants to come live with me, but I'm not going to listen to him." Oh, I'd be a little worried about her. While she was speaking, the frog knocked again at the door and said, "Open the door, my princess dear, open the door to thy true love here, and mind the words that thou and I said, by the fountain cool in the greenwood shade." Then the king said to the young princess, "As you have given your word, you must keep it. So go and let him in." See, now that's a good daddy right there. He's teaching his girl right. She needs to do what she says she's gonna do. So she did. And the frog hopped into the room and then straight on, tap, tap, plash, plash, from the bottom of the room to the top, till he came up close to the table where the princess sat. "Pray, lift me up upon the chair," said he to the princess, "and let me sit next to you." As soon as she had done this, the frog said, "Put your plate near to me, that I may eat out of it." What? That would be the end of it for me. I'll let that frog sit there beside me, but I ain't putting him up on my plate. The only way a frog's gonna be up on my plate is if I'm eating me some frog legs. Sorry. Then she did this, and when he had eaten as much as he could, he said, "Now I'm tired. Carry me upstairs and put me into your bed." He's kind of bossy. Come on, bro. And the princess, though very unwilling, took him up in her hand and put him upon the pillow of her own bed, where he slept all night long. As soon as it was light, he jumped up, hopped downstairs, and went out of the house. "Now then," thought the princess, "at last he's gone, and I will be troubled with him no more." But she was mistaken. For when night came again, she heard some tapping at the door, and the frog came once more and said, "Open the door, my princess dear, open the door to thy true love here, and mind the words that thou and I said, by the fountain cool in the greenwood shade." And when the princess opened the door, the frog came in and slept upon her pillow as before, till the morning broke. And the third night he did the same. But when the princess woke up the following morning, she was shocked. Instead of a frog, there was a handsome prince. He was staring at her with the most beautiful eyes she had ever seen, and standing at the head of her bed. Whoop, whoop! This one sounds like a winner. He told her that he had been enchanted by a spiteful fairy who had changed him into a frog, and that he had to stay that way until some princess should take him out of the water and let him eat from her plate and sleep on her bed for 3 nights. "You," said the prince, "have broken this cruel charm, and now I have nothing to wish for but that you should go with me into my father's kingdom, where I will marry you and love you as long as you live." Whoa, habba habba! The young princess, you may be sure, was not long in saying yes to all this, and as they spoke, a chariot drove up with 8 beautiful horses, decked in plumes of feathers and golden harnesses, and seated there was the prince's servant, faithful Heinrich. Heinrich? Oh, I like that name. I wonder what he thought happened to the prince. I wonder how many times he ate frog legs while the prince was gone, and it could have been the prince. Ever think about that? Heinrich had been so sad about his master and so long had cried that his heart nearly burst with excitement when he saw him. Then they took leave of the king and got into the coach with 8 horses and all set out full of joy and happiness for the prince's kingdom, which they reached safely, and there they lived a happily great many years. The end. Well, that was a strange story. What do you think? Is it that strange? Is it as strange as a talking sheep on a YouTube channel? Oh well. Well, let's see. What do we learn from this story? Well, don't play with expensive gold toys beside water where you're gonna drop it. If an animal talks to you, you should probably be nice to it. When you eat frog legs, you could be eating a bewitched prince. And be nice and do what you say you're gonna do. And be grateful when people help you. Okay, well, thanks for visiting. I hope you have a good day, and I hope to see you again. Whoop-de-whoop! Remember, if you like our videos, make sure to like them, subscribe to the channel, and share them all with your friends. Yep.